Anton quickly got ready, got dressed again and flew out into the street. The walk to Van Gogh Street was not that long, but every meter seemed like an eternity to him. The city was already plunging into the evening gloom, and the street lights created an uneasy atmosphere. Anton, full of determination, glided among the shadows, his thoughts focused on only one thing: to see Asia and try to talk to her. Toronto was a big and confusing city, but thanks to his determination and inner desire, he still found the right area. His legs were already giving out from fatigue, but the thought that this was his last chance forced him to move on. When he finally got to the right address, he noticed that the house looked quite impressive, with high windows and a well-kept garden. Anton carefully approached the house and noticed that a light was peeking out from the living room window. Trying not to make any noise, he approached and pressed himself against the glass to look inside. Inside, Anton saw the scene he had been trying to imagine for so long. Asia Vieira was sitting on a large, comfortable sofa surrounded by soft pillows, her face relaxed, and she was holding a glass of wine in her hands. She was wearing an elegant yellow sleeveless dress that emphasized her grace and sophistication. However, this idol was spoiled by one circumstance. The fact is that next to her sat a man in a gray short-sleeved shirt, and what's more, his arm was wrapped around Asia's waist. The guy looked confident and relaxed, as if this moment was normal for him. Anton felt his heart squeeze with jealousy and shock. His breathing quickened, and he felt his body tense with emotion. This guy sitting next to Asia was the one who apparently occupied her attention and heart. The guy leaned over to pick up the glass of wine and offer a toast. "To our evening, Asia," he said with a slight smile. "I'm so glad you're back. How was the event?" Asia smiled back, her face relaxed and content. "It went great," she replied, raising her glass. "But I missed you." The guy nodded, looking a little more serious as he said, "I thought you'd be staying for a while. While you were gone, I managed to work on a new song a little. You know how much I love this music." "I know," Asia said with a soft smile. "I'm looking forward to hearing it." "By the way," the guy continued, "did you remember that we have an interview on Friday? I hope you'll have time to prepare." "Of course," Asia replied, her voice full of confidence. "I've already prepared a few ideas." The guy looked at Asia and hugged her, saying, "You're amazing as always. And I'm glad I can be there for you. I know you're under pressure right now, and this can be tough." Asia touched his hand, her face full of gratitude. "Thank you, Ryan," she said. "It means so much to me that you're there for me." Anton, who was standing by the window, realized who was sitting next to Asia. It was Ryan Donahue, an actor from Houston, who played faggots in the movies like A Home at the End of the World. Seeing him in person, he felt his hurt and disappointment increase. He already knew that Ryan was not only an actor but also a musician, and as it turned out, he was Asia's boyfriend. Apparently, he had been at her house for a long time, waiting for Asia to return from an event. As Anton pondered what he had just learned, he felt his dreams of living together with Asia becoming more and more unattainable. Feeling bitter and uncertain, he walked away from the window. Without losing his resolve, he knew he had to find a new plan of action to get closer to his goal. Anton, who was standing at the window of the mansion and still in a state of shock from what he had seen, did not notice Ryan Donahue putting on his jacket, leaving the house. He continued to stand motionless, pondering what to do next, until he heard the door creak, and so Ryan approached the car parked at the curb. Ryan, noticing Anton's figure, froze. Suspicion appeared in his eyes. Gritting his teeth, he walked towards Anton. "Hey, what are you doing here?" Ryan said, his voice full of menace and contempt. Anton, tense and hesitant, flinched and turned to Ryan. His face paled when he saw who was standing in front of him. I just got lost," Anton mumbled, his voice shaking. "I need to find my way back." Ryan chuckled and looked at Anton with obvious distrust. His eyes narrowed in suspicion. "Lost, you say?" he said sarcastically. What neighborhood do you think you're in that you can get lost 10 meters from home? Anton wanted to answer, but the words wouldn't come. He could feel his heart beating faster and faster. He knew perfectly well that his appearance and behavior could probably be perceived as a threat. Ryan, continuing to raise his voice, pointed at Anton. What neighborhood are you from? Why aren't you in your neighborhood? Are you a robber? Anton, gathering his strength, tried to explain. I'm not a robber, I'm from Russia and I just wanted to meet a person. It's not what you think. Ryan, not listening to his explanation, showed obvious disdain. Do you think you belong here? Look at yourself, you're like a beggar from Russia. Get out of here before I call the police. Anton felt his inner peace quickly melting away. He knew that his chance for a peaceful resolution to the situation was slipping away. The tension between them was growing, and besides, the sounds of sirens rising on the horizon were starting to grow. Ryan, no longer holding back his anger, took out his phone and began to dial a number. I'm calling the police, he declared, looking at Anton with disdain. Get out of here before I do. At that moment, Anton realized that he had no other choice. Before Ryan could finish the conversation, Anton turned sharply and ran away from the mansion. His legs moved with difficulty on the uneven sidewalk until he found shelter in the shadows of an old building not far from where he had been caught. Anton breathed heavily, hiding in the darkness, trying to calm the frantic rhythm of his heart. He heard the sirens receding and felt the sweat running down his back in icy beads. With frantic desperation, he realized that his plan had become even more complicated than he had expected. But Anton Skovorodnikov was not the kind of person to give up. His heart pounded in his ears, and thoughts about his dream of Asia and its peace once again overwhelmed him. He took a deep breath, trying to calm himself, and reached for his phone to contact Dmitry Vinogradov again. An unexpected encounter with Ryan, who clearly had a taste for conflict, left Anton determined that he would continue to fight for his dream, despite the obstacles and difficulties. An hour passed. Anton sat on the edge of the bed in his temporary refuge, a small hostel on the outskirts of the city. Feeling his body still shaking from stress, he considered the events of the last hour, the confrontation with Ryan, the disappointment and fear. His thoughts were clouded, and he was about to drop his head on the pillow, when the phone suddenly rang. The name of Dmitry Vinogradov appeared on the screen. Anton answered the call with trepidation, hoping that his friend could offer at least some solution to his problems. Hi, Dmitry, Anton was tense and excited. I got into a mess here. Things didn't go as I planned. Hi, Skovant. What happened? Dmitry replied with mild interest. So what kind of mess did you get into again? Anton took a deep breath and, trying to calm his thoughts, began to tell. Do you remember I told you about the actress, Asia Vieira? Well, I found her, but everything went wrong. When I got to her house, I saw her in the company of some guy. It turned out that he was some actor who played faggots in the 2000s. And now, imagine that this guy, Anton continued, is not just a random person, but her real love interest, and he is, like, her current boyfriend. Wait, Dmitry interrupted, I don't quite get it. Is this the guy she was with at the event? No, that was director Jorge Montesi, Anton corrected him. And regarding this guy? I ran into him right away. I didn't have time to leave her house in time, and this guy, having bumped into me, almost tore me to pieces. He was ready to call the police to drive me away, and said that Russians have no place here. Wow, Dmitry became serious. That's really serious. But I get it. So you want to meet Asia without all these obstacles? Yes, that's right, Anton sighed. I'm trying to find a way to meet her again, but things have gotten complicated now. Okay, Dmitry said after a short pause. I need a little time to arrange everything. I'll try to find another way for you to get to the event where Asia Vieira won't be surrounded by these people. Thank you, Dmitry. You have no idea how important this is to me, Anton said, feeling his heart begin to beat more evenly again. Well, Dmitri sighed, I'll try to make sure you have a chance. I'll see you in a day. Until then, take care of yourself and be on your guard. Anton turned off his phone, and having calmed down a little, began to prepare for the next day. The next day, Anton, sitting in his temporary shelter, received a message from Dmitri Vinogradov. He quickly opened the text and began to read. Dmitri was offering him the opportunity to attend a closed event, where, as he wrote, Asia Vieira would be present without her usual companions. Unable to stand the wait, Anton immediately dialed Dmitri's number. Dmitri, hi, his voice was full of excitement. I got your message. Tell me, what do I need to do to get to this event? Hi, Skovant, Dmitri replied. It's quite simple. I managed to get you an invitation to this closed event. Asia Vieira will be there without Jorge Montesi and this guy. You just need to come and introduce yourself as an invited guest. At the entrance, just show the invitation. That's great news, Anton said, feeling his hopes revived. Thank you very much. I don't know how I would have managed without you. You're welcome, Dmitri replied with a slight grin in his voice. Remember, you're not alone in this city, so be careful and keep your eyes open. All you need now is to just seize the opportunity and use it to the fullest. Got it, Anton nodded, although Dmitri didn't see it. I'll do everything. Thank you for helping me and for believing in me. Good luck to you, Dmitri said. And don't forget, don't let go of your plan. I hope everything works out this time. Come on, keep me posted. Anton turned off his phone and, confident in his actions, began to prepare for the upcoming event. Half an hour later, he was already standing in front of the mirror in his small refuge, pulling up the lapels of the tuxedo he had borrowed from the porter. The sleek black suit fit him like a glove, and he could hardly believe that just a couple of days ago he had been an ordinary waiter at an event. Now he was preparing for another meeting with Asia Vieira, and this time everything was going to be different. I hope everything works out, he said to himself, straightening his jacket and putting the finishing touches on his tie. As the evening approached, Anton, trying not to think about his nervous premonitions, went outside. When he reached the venue, he was amazed by its luxury. The large mansion was illuminated by hundreds of lights, and from inside, the sounds of live music and laughter of guests could be heard. Anton showed the invitation at the entrance, after which he was led into the hall. Inside, everything looked even more impressive. The decor was stylish and sophisticated, guests in elegant outfits moved around the room, raising glasses and discussing the news. Anton tried not to look too nervous, and trying to remain casual, headed to the bar. After a while, his gaze fell on Asia Vieira. She was sitting at the far end of the room on a sofa, chatting with several guests. Tonight, she was dressed in an elegant blue dress that emphasized her slender figure and sophisticated beauty. Without Jorge Montesi and Ryan Donahoe, she seemed more relaxed and approachable. Anton took a deep breath, gathered his courage, and began to slowly move towards her. At that moment, he noticed Asia look up and notice him. Hello, Anton began, walking towards her. I think we've met before. Asia smiled, slightly surprised. Oh, really? I don't recall seeing you anywhere, her voice was warm and soft. Maybe it was at another event, Anton said, rubbing his hands nervously. My name is Anton. I came from Russia and you, well, kind of inspired me. Asia nodded, her interest clearly piqued. Interesting, she said, placing her hand on her chin. Well, nice to meet you, Anton. How did you like our event? It was awesome, Anton replied, feeling his nervousness begin to fade. I couldn't help but notice how gorgeous you look. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you. Thank you, Asia smiled. You are so polite. The time spent here will be even better with such pleasant company. The conversation continued, and Anton felt his heart fill with joy from communicating with Asia. He forgot about his previous failures, simply enjoying the moment.